Well, one of the first things we had to consider was where the water needed to go from and to. So we had to identify the two main start and end points for the potential pipeline. Then we had to look at other options. We couldn't necessarily go for the easiest option first, which was maybe to build the brand new pipeline. So we had to look at what was already in the ground, what the existing water network was in the ground, and potentially the existing capacity of that network.
So we knew we had to start at Prescott Reservoir in the west and finish at Woodgate Hill in the east. Between those two locations there are motorways and railways and towns and agricultural land, lots of things in the way that we needed to get around. And the first thing we did was decide from an engineering point of view what was the optimum area to enable us to use gravity to get water down from Bury to Prescott. And that gave us a generalised area through the northwest where we could actually achieve the right flows in the pipe. So that narrowed it down a little bit at first. The second thing we needed to do was make sure we avoided major urban areas and settlements in order to cause least disruption to customers, which meant that we've gone around the north of St Helens, we've gone to the south of Loughton, and unfortunately when we get into the west we can't avoid coming into Greater Manchester. However, what we've tried to do is minimise the amount of customers we impact by going through as many open spaces as we can.
One of the fundamental requirements of any pipeline, in particular this one being so large, is that site investigation has to be undertaken to determine the nature of the ground below the surface. It's very important that we find out if there are any old mine workings. This is important because the technique of laying the main will be influenced by the type of ground that we go through. It can be wet, it can be rocky, it can have archaeology in it, it can have a whole number of issues, all of which could affect the construction of the pipeline.